All right, it's Dan Brooks here with Dan Picard of Eastman's Hunting TV, and today is Craft Day at Crystal Lake Resort. We're going to show you how to make birch bark moose calls right now. So the first part is obviously go get yourself some birch bark, and you can do that by just cutting a chunk of birch bark out of a tree and then with a knife kind of peeling it off the trunk of the tree. Once you have your birch bark, you draw yourself out a big triangle with a flat end on one side. So it can be cut with a good pair of stout scissors. You cut it off and there's your little triangle. You can clear off all the debris on the backside fairly easily and without worrying about hurting it. And then this is the piece of birch bark that we are going to use to make our birch bark horn. All right, Dan, the next process is going to be heating this up so that it'll curl. So Dan's going to help me with that. You want to take hot water, not quite boiling, but very hot. And you don't want to use too much because when it starts to curl, it'll really start to curl lots. Yeah, it's looking really good.
So you're just kind of getting the whole thing, being thorough, getting everything wet.
Get everything wet. Now we want that bottom to curl more than the top actually, so we should be pouring a whole bunch. Give me a big shot right there on the bottom so that starts to curl. See how that goes? Okay, so we don't want to go too much. If you go too much, you'll end up with it'll curl right over on top of itself. So you just kind of tuck it in there nice and tight. Just like so. It's really that simple. Dan's we tape the ends. Hold it into place there. There we go, just like that. So that's the basic moose call shape right there. This can be trimmed either with a knife or on a chop saw. You can cut that off and trim off the little scragglers there, as well as this end you can trim it to the proper melt size. Then this can be left to dry usually 3 or 4 hours or overnight. All right, but we don't have 3 or 4 hours, so we're going to show you what we've already done. Once they're dried, you can put a little glue in between that seam. Good old Gorilla Glue does amazing work. A couple of boards on either side and clamp it tight together, and that'll give you your final product birch bark call once that dries. So this is already dried a little bit. And then it'll look like this at the end.
Yep.
And that's how you make a birch bark call, folks.